Hey, Tar Pit crew, thanks for tuning into the Tar Pit Podcast, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. Did you know you can also catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify? If you haven't already, make sure to check us out and follow us today on Spotify for all the latest UNC football coverage. Need fresh game day gear? Swing by the Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head on Franklin Street. Use code TARPITPOD for 15% off your entire order. Anytime in-store or online at shrunkenhead.com. All right, let's get into it.
What's going on, Tar Pit crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Tar Pit Podcast. And you already know what it is, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. The best thing that happened to me today was I got to walk in a Christmas parade. The bad part was I couldn't go to the basketball game because of that. The second best thing that happened to me today is I received 4 new Carolina hats. This is one, feeling fresh. I know my guy Trevor's a lid guy. Trevor, give me 2 best things that happened to you today.
Well, I woke up this morning. That was a good thing that happened today. And probably just spent
like 4, right?
Yeah, I was up late, man, grinding. And probably just spending time with family, man. We got to go to church, had a church Christmas party tonight. So it's been a good day. When you first opened up, I thought you were going to say something about the college football playoff with this comment we've got here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I thought that's where you were going to go with it, but yeah, man, it's been a good day.
Hey, I know they're our rival, but man, it's what world are we living in? I mean, they were in the college. I mean, not the college, but they were in the ACC championship last year too, right? Was Duke?
It was
no. But I was thinking, just like, what world am I living in right now that Duke wins an ACC football championship?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
But
it's five losses.
Yeah, but hey, it happened. Kudos to them, I guess. Duke fans will probably clip this and be like, "Look at this Carolina fan coping hard." Not coping hard. I said kudos, congrats, guys. We'll be up next. Hopefully. But man, hey, look, it's just us two, I think, mostly for tonight. Troy is away with some family stuff. And I know he had a Christmas party tonight with the wife. And look, we're a podcast, man. We love this, but it's all about, family first. So sometimes you may see some of us, sometimes you might not. Look, just real quick, I want to get this in. If you're needing some new game day gear, of course, not right now for football, because we're not in the college football playoff. Apparently,
you just got snubbed, man.
I know.
We got snubbed.
Tar Heels definitely got snubbed for sure. But anyway, look, if you need some new game day gear, maybe you're headed to a basketball game or one of the other amazing sports and successful sports at Carolina, or a women's game. I know they had a game today, like they won by a lot. Men's won by 20, I think it was, to Georgetown, which was a good win. But you can stop on by Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head right there on Franklin Street, or you can go to shrunkenhead.com and just use the code TARPITPOD and get 15% off your whole order year round. I also want to give a shout out to a new follower of the Tar Pit Podcast on Twitter. They've been super active, commenting, retweeting. Charlie Martin over on Twitter. Look, we appreciate you tapping into the Tar Pit Podcast. It means the world to us. Do us a favor, wherever you're listening from right now. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter because we can't call it X. Do us a favor, leave a comment, give us some thoughts throughout the night. We're back with part 2 of diving into the Tar Heels 2026 class. But tonight, we're back just talking about the trenches. We're going to pick up where we left off last week with the unfortunate end to the stream. If you were tapped in, somebody
I was gonna say, yeah, that was unfortunate, but we had big goals. We were like, we're gonna get through this whole thing, and I'm thinking of that meme where it's like 2 years later, because it's just we always we talk for so long, so we always underestimate how long it's gonna take. So
yeah,
you made an executive decision with the trenches tonight, so
yeah,
I'm glad for that.
We just do trenches tonight. Just gonna call my guy out, JJ Jones. He meant to hit exit for him out of the studio, and somehow he hit the whole in stream button and closed this down. So I think we're just gonna have to do a full studio tour for him. But look, wherever you're streaming from tonight, definitely on Twitter and Facebook, do us a favor, share this out, give us a retweet. It does go a long way for the Tar Pit podcast. We're a grassroots podcast, and give us a follow if you can. Trevor, you ready to jump in tonight? Oh, one more thing. I wanted to shout out this guy, Leroy Jackson. Not sure if you saw this.
I did, bro. I was going to mention that to you. This is impressive.
Yeah, but it also shows me that it looks like they've had their after the season award banquet already, and it looks like Leroy Jackson landed the Tylee Craft Academic Perseverance Award. So it's pretty cool. What you think about that, Trevor?
That's awesome, man. I'm glad that this is the first time I've saw this award. I don't know if maybe they had it last year. First time I've saw it though. I'm glad to see that Tylee's legacy still living on in the building. And man, for Leroy's size, 4'7", 40, that's pretty impressive. That's getting it.
Yeah,
his weight, man, he's getting it.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I think he could have probably got most improved too. I mean, as a true freshman and now as a sophomore, just the work and the improvement across the board for Leroy was amazing this season. I know, all of us at the Tar Pit and other, beat reporters and mainstream podcasts for UNC thought the weakest link going into the year was the defensive line. And I think people can really hang their hats on it. It was one of the top 3 units on the whole UNC football team was the defensive line. I would say.
Yeah, man, they were impressive. Which is why I'm really excited for, the guys that we had. They weren't the highest rated. Of course, these ratings don't mean anything, right? You can be a 3-star and the number 1 pick, a 5-star and not get drafted. But with this group that we have coming in, there's a lot of potential in this room, especially on the defensive line.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. You ready to do this thing?
Let's roll.
Cool. Let's do this. Well, first up, like you said, we're just covering the trenches tonight. So the guys that are in charge of protecting the quarterback are opening up those lanes, and also the guys that are,
getting after the quarterback,
getting after the quarterback, stuffing the run or protecting the edges on a dual threat quarterback, which we saw we had tons of issues with when it came to dual threat quarterbacks against that team down in Fuquay Arena. We had a hard time with containing him. So hopefully this new class can come in and help with that. But first up, we covered him last time, but this time we're just going to go ahead and start fresh. Is 3-star Will Conroy. He was a flip from Oklahoma, came to the Tar Heels. I really think that, right off from the get-go, I could say with confidence, I felt like that he's gone really under the radar, right, as a signee for Carolina. He played at IMG Academy down there in Florida, I believe. I think he was an All-American as well. He was an All-State, All-Conference. Nope, sorry, that was Duran Park. Sorry, got the one pulled up there. IMG Academy, like I mentioned. But, yes, he did participate in the All-America game. Trevor, kind of give me some thoughts here. Will Conroy flip from Oklahoma to Carolina. What's some of your thoughts about that?
Yeah. So Will, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. I think he's a guy we flipped him from Oklahoma, and then I don't think he's very active on social media, so you don't see him a lot. So he's flew under the radar. But this kid, like you mentioned, he's from Ohio, transferred to IMG, and he actually will be playing in the Under Armour All-American game in January this year. So it'll be fun to watch him. But one note that I don't remember what article I pulled it off of, but one thing with Will that I liked is when he sat down with the staff, he said Bill Belichick and I guess Lombardi or whoever sits down with him, they pulled up Super Bowl starting centers and showed him Creed Humphrey of the Chiefs center, and Cam Jurgens of the Eagles. So we're looking at him, I'm guessing, to be a center for us. And this kid is, I mean, he's got the perfect frame. I believe he's like 6. I missed it here, but it's 6'2", 280. So he's not the tallest guy in the room for sure, but he's very good, hard worker. He stood out to me as far as his low center of gravity, kind of like a Willie Lampkin, right? These, low man wins. Will Conroy, he's very good, and a smart kid. especially I know we mentioned the other day on the past stream, we were talking about them. Anytime you go to IMG, man, that's all they do is football. Like IMG is in the morning football, breakfast, your football, lunch football, like it's football. So to go to IMG and play on, their main team there, he's a good football player. And the coach that I'm glad we're redoing this, because I couldn't think of the coach on UNC's team that was associated with him, but it was Billy Miller. He used to be the head coach at IMG. So he had some connections down there. I'm sure he was involved in getting this kid. But anytime you can go out and flip a SEC player, an IMG player, these are good football players. So I'm excited to see what he can develop into.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to note, and as you're kind of going through the list of commits for Carolina this year, there's definitely a couple of similarities across the board. Most of them are dual sport athletes. I think that's something that Bill Belichick and Lombardi really like. It seems like over the past just like decade or so, a lot of parents have kind of made their kids just shift to one sport, but you kind of start seeing those high school coaches, those college coaches say, no, actually, that's not what I want you to do, is just solely focus on football or baseball or whatever it is sports they're leaning towards or going to college for. They want them to be dual sport athletes. And definitely for offensive linemen, you'll notice across the board that a lot of them are dual sport athletes in wrestling. And a lot of that has to do with agility, side to side movement, keeping those hips flexible, because you got to be flexible a lot of times when wrestling. So that's something that I like to see is an offensive line being a wrestler as a dual sport athlete in high school before they make the jump to college. A quick other note on Will Conroy is that something that I liked is that he was a team captain in 2023 to 2024 and all Ohio selection. I'm sorry, in 2023, 2024 also served as a team captain, but before making the move to IMG Academy down in Florida. So that's something across the board that you like to see. And some people would say, of course, he was a team captain. He's one of the best players on this team, and that's not always the case. A lot of the times those awards are chosen. I know when I played in high school, a lot of those awards were chosen by the team, right? And so you have to be a likable guy, not just the best one on the team, and or someone that leads well. And he was tabbed captain. So I'm excited about Conroy. I was actually shocked when we flipped him from Oklahoma to Carolina, and hopefully maybe we can get him on behind the commitment. He's been a little bit, I think, harder to get in touch with just because he's not, active on social media per se. But Trevor, I'm gonna kick it back to you. Do you have any final thoughts before we transition to our next athlete, which is along the offensive line, which is interior offensive line, Deron Parks?
Like I said, Under Armour All-American in January, I'll look forward to watching him play there. And with the captains, also, if he's going to be a center, man, you want a center that's a leader. So I'm excited to see his development with his staff. Coach Will Friend, I believe that he when I was reading his commitment post, that was a big influence. Obviously, that'll be his coach. So he did a great job at other stops. Obviously, this year at times the O-line was disappointment, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can turn into.
Yeah, all good stuff there. And Trevor, shout out to you. I think, how many hours did you spend on our pre-show notes for tonight and pulling media and everything? Don't sell yourself short. Come on, guy.
I don't know. The other night was about 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we went last night from like 10:30 to 4:30 this morning. But I was getting sucked into it, man. I love, it's fun. This is fun, man. Reading this stuff, learning about these kids, watching film. So it wasn't bad. I had a late night. if I fall asleep on stream, you know what happened. So we'll just end it. We'll just end the stream at that point.
No, man, you can't fall asleep. I'll be by myself. But hey, look, appreciate everybody tuning in. We're almost at 200. Do us a favor, share this out. It mean a lot to the Tar Pit podcast. Thanks for tapping in with us tonight as we got started at 9:00 tonight. We're headed into our second one, which is 4-star interior offensive lineman Deron Parks out of West Virginia, was previously committed to Florida State. We made the flip to Carolina. This was one that was announced, I believe, on signing day. Is that right, Trevor? Yeah, it was flipped and announced on signing day. I think we had some strong feelings over at the Tar Pit that flip was kind of already decided upon. a few
Yeah,
days.
we had our crystal ball in for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But I know between us, we kind of knew, it kind of felt like, hey, he was going to be a Tar Heel for a week or so leading up to it. But out of West Virginia, I'm excited about this kid, man. A 4-star. I know he's got a ton of potential. The sky's the limit, kind of high upside type of signing here. I know he's got some things that he kind of needs to shore up as he makes the jump to Carolina, which you know, Moses Cabrera, that's who it is, right? Or is that a baseball player? Yeah, Moses Cabrera, strength coach, right? I should know that, as I was actually typing his name out today in a tweet I was putting out on Crew Davis. So yeah, Trevor, kind of give me your thoughts, your overall thoughts here of Duron Parks out of West Virginia, made the flip from FSU on signing day to Carolina.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I wish, man, the other night I was waiting to get to him because we had a FSU guy in the chat here throwing strays. I don't know how we reached him, but he was in here talking junk. So I was waiting until we got to him to talk about the flip. But Duron, man, he is actually the number one. He was ranked the number one player in all of West Virginia. And there was talks, you know, West Virginia was trying to get him down until the end. So for us to go in there and keep him here, a kid from West Virginia. He's a good ball player, 6'5", 310. This is the type of guy that can really play anywhere. He's gigantic. He's almost, I want to say the last weight I saw on him was almost up to 350
Yeah,
in
that's
spring
right.
before his senior year. And wingspan at 6'10", man, that's massive. So this is a kid that's, you know, this is a big time prospect. He could, if we develop him right, he can really turn into something. But he's very, very light on his feet. He plays with higher pad level. He establishes leverage very well, which you can tell anytime you're, especially as an offensive lineman, when you get those 4 or 5-star offensive linemen, more commonly, obviously you see offensive linemen as 3-star guys, but this kid is very good, very mobile, especially for his size. So I'm looking forward to watching him in Carolina Blue. This was a good get, a very good get.
Yeah, awesome. Want to shout out, let's see here. Caleb, he said he just wanted to point out that he got some unwarranted shade in the last live we did. I haven't been able to watch them live, but I'm still watching. I think we were mentioning, like, where's Caleb at? And so, but Caleb, no shade. All love, my guy. Appreciate you tapping in. Eric Collins over on YouTube. Appreciate you tapping in, Eric. I believe that's Eric also over on Twitter. That's a friend of the podcast and also a friend of mine over on Twitter, I believe. The whole reason our D line was so much better than the previous 5 seasons was development. I definitely agree with that. Let's see what else.
Hey, Chris, pull that video back up real quick. I want
Okay.
to show you something. Check this out. I don't know if this is him or not. Look at the kid up top. See the kid up top? He's taking him to the bus. Just blocks him completely off the screen. I don't think that's Duron, but I saw that. He's just taking him all the way to the side, just blocking him off the screen.
Right here at the bottom.
Yeah, did you see it?
I think let's go back and see. Right here at the
Oh,
bottom.
so that's not Duron's a big guy up top. He's part of it. So he'll let go.
Oh, that guy right there.
Or he's just taking him to the bus.
Has he signed with anybody yet?
Yeah, right. But some other notes on Duron, man. He's he spent his junior season at left tackle. Here, I believe I pulled this note from 247. They said they see him more as a guard, but with that frame, man, I can see him playing either guard or tackle. So I'm excited. This is a good get. I know Florida State's had a down year in terms of the past 2 years, but they still usually recruit at a high level. So to win a kid like this, that's a good get.
Yeah, good stuff there, man. Thanks for tapping in on all those notes. Also, shout out Matthew Holland over there listening. I believe he's listening on YouTube right now. He said, thanks for all the information. Trevor, if you could throw that comment up there, that'd be great real quick. I think he said, thanks for all the information. So shout out to you, Matthew. I think he was the winner. Yeah, he was the winner of the UNC Duke football tickets. We got 2 of them to him, and then also a $50 gift card to Shrunken Head and Tailgate by Shrunken Head. So that was pretty cool. All right. So next up is Anthony Hall, another interior offensive lineman, a high 3-star. Very smart guy. Another guy that's a two-sport athlete, also a member of the track program before he gets to Chapel Hill, of course. This is a kid, also a high character kid, smart kid. I'm excited about Anthony Hall. I know I'll let you speak to it more, Trevor. You've had the opportunity to interact with him leading up to the night, and you've had nothing but positive things to say. I think we're working on it with him to get him on for a behind the commitment. So hopefully we can make that happen in the near future. But man, another kid, that's 6'4", 340 pounds. I mean, this is just another trend, right, that you see along these commits in the trenches on both sides of the balls. Big kids that can take up space. And I'm really excited. So Trevor, kind of give us your overall thoughts of Anthony Hall.
Yeah, this kid, he's from Massachusetts. Bill loves guys up there. At the time when he committed at the time, I think he dropped, but we talked about that other night, and we'll dive deeper into it because I got some that I really want to bring up to you. But he dropped a few spots, but he was the number one player at the time when he committed. 6'4", 340, and UNC's got him listed at 356 here. But this kid can really move on his feet, man. There's a clip. I didn't upload it in here tonight, but he was running like spring. He was running a 40, and he was fast, man. It was another guy under 5 seconds. I don't remember the exact time, but I remember watching it. It went kind of viral. But his brother plays college football at UMass Dartmouth. You mentioned two-sport athlete, also a member of the track program. He's a kid that is a very good kid. He sent us a video the other day. We're going to have to get that out, but you can tell like he comes from a good character, and they call him U-Haul. So Anthony U-Haul Hall. So we'll have to help him get a U-Haul NIL deal when he gets down here. But
that would be awesome.
Very, very physical. You'll see he's got heavy hands. He's very quick to it. Look at him. See, getting out there and look at that, man. At 356 pounds, look at him pull. That's he plays some defense, playing both sides of the ball here. His clips on both sides of the ball, which you'll see a lot with these guys. Of course, most of them are the best player on their team. But this kid is a very good kid. I see Anthony probably more as a guard, but we'll see. He's got the frame to be a tackle as well, and I'm very excited to see what he does for us.
Give me your thoughts on this. Connor Griffin said, shout out to Connor. He's a longtime listener to the Tar Pit podcast. He says U-Haul can be one of those players that can impact fast.
Yeah, I don't want to. I guess I wouldn't say put too much pressure on him, because you got to still remember that he is, a freshman. But I believe he's one of our early enrollees.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be here early, which is always going to go a long way. You mentioned Moses having that time before, and JJ brought it up the other night. These early enrollees, when they get in, they're just working out amongst their class. They're away from the team, and then eventually they get rolled into the team. They're doing their own programs. So I mean, I think that we're going to need a bunch of guys from this class of 40 players to step up. To be honest with you, we're going to need a good amount of them to step up and play significant snaps. So I know Anthony is one that has the potential to be, for sure. But we'll see. We'll see how long it takes.
Yes, it's also pretty safe to say too that when it comes to higher end ball like college ball, well, I guess it would just be college ball, right? But I mean, even in the NFL, I guess you could say like first year offensive linemen, taking second, third, fourth, fifth round can struggle, right, when they make that leap. If you take a lineman in the first round, you're expecting them usually to be an impact, but we're talking college, right? So let's stick college. Just had to finish that thought because that's, I mentioned it. I want to leave people hanging with that thought there, but I would say
I will say, though, we saw Bill wasn't afraid to play freshmen. One thing with Mac, you didn't really see. I mean, we had Aiden Banfield was like the first freshman lineman to start a game to begin the year since like 2013 or something. So if he gets in there and works, which, I mean, I could just tell from the few interactions, this kid's got it. He wants to be very good. So I know that the staff's not afraid to play him, which is something that I'm happy about.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say though, I think the finish just that thought was that it's pretty safe to say. I feel like that, offensive line is probably one of the hardest to start for a freshman coming into college ball, definitely at the P4 level. What's your thoughts on that, Trevor?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a little easier other than the quarterback, but the skill positions, it's a little easier. Running back, you've got to be able to pass block. That's the biggest thing with young running backs. But yeah, offensive line is definitely tougher right away. I mean, throughout the year, you see them play more, but the biggest thing is getting these guys in early and getting with Moses and getting them in the right shape. And that's the biggest thing. So I believe it's 36 of the 39 I think we got. I believe I read somewhere enrolling early, so that's going to be
That's
fun to see. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. All right, so next up is another one. So watch the trend here. 4-star offensive tackle JB Shabazz was committed to Tennessee, but made the flip from Tennessee to Carolina. I think he was the sixth offensive tackle in the country at the time before he made the flip. So that's a big time get for Belichick and Lombardi here. Height 6'6", and here's the trend. Weight 315. A local kid, Carolina kid, Kernersville, North Carolina, East Forsyth High School. I think some of the things that we kind of see. He also played. Well, first I'll go with some of the things that we will see. He's another two-sport athlete. He also earned all conference honors as a basketball, and I kind of did a chuckle there because that's a kid I would not want to go up down low or anywhere, down low is 6'6", 315. I mean, like you just put a light shoulder right into the chest of who
Yeah,
you're
just get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
Yeah, backing down, man. You don't really stand a chance there. But I mean, it's a kid that has a massive high ceiling. Of course, it's hard to say when you're talking about offensive linemen and defensive linemen per se, right? Once they get to college is when you can kind of start to see like what type of impact they can have. But just going off his film, one of the things I like about this kid is, like I already mentioned, another dual sport athlete, light on his feet. I think when you watch his film, you can definitely say he flies off the ball, a lot of power, and definitely at the point of contact. But I'm going to turn it over to you, Trevor, and kind of let us get your thoughts. You also got a comment over on Facebook from a friend, maybe because he's going by kind of like your short nickname, I guess you would say. Thomas Clark just comments, Trev.
Yep, that's my boy. What's up, Tommy? But yeah, man, JB. So he actually played at East Forsyth with Bryce
Yep.
Baker, and then ended up transferring this year to Oak Grove. But I added, this is the one I was like, this makes me so mad, man. And I don't know. It's just maybe my head, but you see it all the time. When he was committed to Tennessee, he was number 6 offensive tackle in the country and ranked like 60th overall. He flips to UNC and just magically drops to number 22. Not that it means anything. It's just you see that stuff happen all the time, and it's so annoying. But this kid is another one, massive. You talked about it, 6'5", 333. And for these guys, two-sport athletes, basketball player, light on his feet, man. At this size, the way that he can move, like this is one that if he ends up panning out to what he's ranked at right now, this is a NFL tackle one day. If we can develop him right and do the right things, I'm very excited for his future. So he is, his size you can't teach. He's upper level with his size. He's frequently in control with his feet. If you watch some of his film here, you'll see he's very good at bending his wrist. His feet are always in the right position. He's quick off the snap on his feet. Dang, that video came through small, didn't it? There we go. But this kid he's got the perfect frame, 34 plus inch arms, and then a basketball player. So you that's everything you want when you're building if I was building a offensive lineman, JB's frame and background is what you're looking for at a power 4 tackle.
Yeah. I can't recall because I was reading a comment here. Did you talk about how he bends more at the waist and how that can really help there for an offensive lineman his size?
A little bit. You can go into it more if you want to, but
No, I was just going to kind of leave it to you if you wanted
yeah.
to.
Yeah, I mean, he's every like This is a big time football player, man. I think that's one of the reasons that made me so mad that when he flipped, all of a sudden he just fell down the rankings, right?
Yeah.
And I think I used to hear a lot of times too, it was if they stopped going to camps. I don't know if if that's got any truth to it or not, or if that's how it works. But this is a home, North Carolina guy. We didn't get very many in-state kids. When Mac, it was mainly everybody we were getting was in-state for the most part. And JB, he's the guy that I think every home game I was at, I saw him there. So he was, he was locked in. Even before he flipped, he was at a couple games. So yeah, Caleb over here with the band. Yeah. We mentioned it a little bit on the last episode, Caleb. So we had to pick up where we left off.
Good stuff there, man. Well, next up is our guy. I say our guy because he's like family, I think you could say at this point. Him and his mom, Crystal, have been big supporters of the Tar Pit podcast. His three-star interior offensive lineman, our guy Zion Smith, a native of Delaware. Another guy at 6'4", right under 300 pounds, 290. He was a 4-year starter at left tackle in high school.
At DeMatha Catholic. That's a big time football program.
Yep, that's what I was about to go with right there, that he plays big time high school football. He was the one that we kind of shared a video of Bill doing a call to him, and also I think it was just a month and a half ago or something. He was out there. Bill was standing on the sidelines watching him play, and then I think left at halftime or something like that. But Zion, we expect everybody to call him by the nickname that we gave him, which is Big Z. If you'd like to know a little bit more in depth about, there we go. You know the deal. Yes, Big Z. If you want to know more about Zion, you can go and check out our Behind the Commitment. Just an overall good kid that comes from a great family. His mom's actually going to be moving down here to Chapel Hill while he's in college. So that's awesome. But Trevor, kind of give us a little bit more knowledge about Zion Smith and what he could potentially bring to Carolina.
Yeah, I was watching. I believe somebody was sharing his Instagram live when he was signing. His coach was speaking about him, and I don't remember the exact number he said, but it was like their offensive numbers, and he said 80% of our offensive plays were ran behind this guy right here. So, as we mentioned, DeMatha, that's a big time program. They're very good at football. They take football seriously. I believe there was the TCU game. Zion wasn't able to make it. His coach is like, "No, you're not missing this meeting."
Well,
Like,
he made it at the last
he
minute.
did. Okay, yeah. But at one time he didn't think he was going to be able to make it, and that was like their first game of the year, early in the season, right? So one thing I noticed here that I didn't know, I don't know if you knew this, but his cousin Earl Winfield actually played at Carolina from 82 to 85. So I didn't know that about him. The few times we've talked to him, that's pretty cool to know. But Zion, you'll look here, man. He's very quick out of his stance, like he just shoots up. And his twitch is very good. He gets in good position to out leverage guys, which obviously is a reason, his size, you want to run behind this big fella leading the way. But the offense they ran, he's got good experience at combo blocking, good chemistry, smart kid. I mean, we've talked to him, I don't know how many times, but we love Big Z here at the Tar Pit. Demonstrates good ability in pass pro, good in run block. You'll see here he's always taking a defender, like look, putting him in it. Where's he taking him? To the bus, Chris, down here at the bottom?
Yeah.
There's another one, right?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
you see that?
Right here. Look at this guy right here.
But he stood no chance. But
Finish the dang play.
Good base strength. And this he's another. I'm excited about these guys, man. I've said it last time, I'll say it again. This class has got me one of the, more excited I've been about a class since probably the Drake May class when he was coming in. I like this comment here. I showed it earlier, but Big Z versus Big Rough. Iron sharpens iron. We got some big time O linemen coming in, some big time D linemen we'll talk about tonight. So,
yeah, that's awesome, man. It's been a pleasure to get to know Zion and his family. I think he has a ton of upside. Just all around good kids. Outside of the size of the trenches that of the kids in the trenches that they're bringing in. That's just another trend that we've continued to see. They just seem like not only talented kid, but also kids that are just high character. And I think this just goes to show this is a key word, high character, for this next kid that we've gotten to know, which is 3-star offensive tackle Nick Fiumara. Man, he grew up 8 miles from Gillette Stadium, grew up a Belichick fan, a Patriots fan, of course. But, we did a behind the commitment with Nick, and we talked about that in depth and talked about how his faith is extremely important to him. So if you'd like to know more about that, if you'd like to know more about that or know more about Nick, you can go back and watch that at a later date. But man, just a good overall kid and a family, and just a surreal moment for him that he talked to us about his mom and dad, just taking him and his brother, to games at Gillette Stadium, and then one day committing to play football for head coach Bill Belichick in college at UNC. I really do encourage y'all to go back and watch any of the behind the commitments that we've done with these kids. I asked Nick, I said, what's one of the first, we always do our rapid fires with these guys. And that's just like where we ask a question, they have to just give us the first thing that comes to their mind. And I asked Nick, I said, what's one of the first things that you want to do when you get to Chapel Hill? And he just said, beat Duke. Stone cold face, nothing else, just beat Duke. He also said if you could have any NIL deal, it would be Chipotle. I can't remember, was it 400 grams of protein a day, Trevor, or 600?
I thought you said 400 pounds.
Yeah, I did put that up as a tweet. I misspoke. It's like, he eats 400 pounds. Somebody commented, was like, that's impossible.
Grams. Yeah.
And he texted me and he was like, dude, not 400 pounds. It's 400 grams. I was like, oh, my bad. And I used to be a personal trainer putting up pounds.
Yeah, man, he's a great kid, great family, and I thought it was funny. Those were his when he said beat Duke. This is a kid from, as you mentioned, Foxborough. I don't know how much he knew about the Carolina Duke rivalry before. I'm sure from the basketball side, but that was awesome to hear.
Trevor, if I could add, he's got a little bit of fire. He's got a little bit of a personal investment into that already coming to here, because one of his previous teammates
right?
That graduated before him plays at Duke. So
that's right. And I want to say, didn't he mention he was like coming to visit Duke or something? Or
yeah. So when it came down to it, it was between Carolina, Duke, and there was one other that was very, very high up there. But Duke, so he Carolina was interested in him before Belichick came at the end of Mac Brown, and then kind of like when a coach lets go or retires, kind of like all offers kind of go in limbo, kind of. And so he didn't hear from Carolina for months. But when Belichick reoffered him, he kind of jumped at it. And I like to add, because it's not in our notes, is that he comes from a family of just athletes. Just athletes. His brother is also an offensive lineman at another college, and he's got a younger brother that also plays football and plays on the line.
Yeah, he's Nick, man. When I was watching his film, about every play you watch here, he's getting a pancake. But he's very good at getting, like, he'll get his guy out of the way and he gets to the next level. And you mentioned dual. How many of these guys? I think probably every player is a dual sport athlete, it seems like. So Nick was track and field. He also wrestled in high school. And one thing that I love, man, was his coach. When I was pulling my notes, coach described him as a total package: huge, strong, athletic, mobile, aggressive, nasty trench mentality. And that's which is wild. It's like a switch, right? Because this was one of the nicest kids I think we've talked to, right? Very good kid. But he gets on the field and it completely changes. But you see, man, about every kid that comes up against him on the ground, right? Demonstrates excellent stamina, maintaining intensity and technique across long drives.
Hold up. Sorry, can I watch this film? I think it says wait for it on the next clip. So you got him. Now, let me see. Sometimes it's hard to pick up. That was one play. I wanted to note how he just set this player down and finished the play. Maybe I can't find it. Maybe it was after this. Oh, that's what it was. Dang it. So let's just let this one play, and then we'll go to the next one. So you can see him right there, how he just finishes the play to the whistle, sets that player on his back.
Yeah, I
So,
love just watching this film, man. Look, like I said, about every one of them's a
this is the
pancake.
one. Watch how he puts his player on his back to finish the play right there. I mean,
Yep.
the player's
Finishes
already,
blocks. Yep.
yeah, the player's already gone. Like he's player somewhere else and he's just finishing the play.
Yep, I love that, man. And then I was mentioned earlier, he does a really good job getting he'll get off his block and get to the next level, lead blocking. And I noticed this. I don't think we have numbers yet on his senior year, but did not allow a sack as a junior at all. So that's very impressive, especially for a team that looks like they're running a lot of passing plays, run plays. They're very balanced offense.
Yeah.
Nick, again, look at him finishing blocks. Another one on the ground.
Love it. Love it. Trevor, if you don't mind, kick off the next one for me. I need to take care of something over here on YouTube, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So we'll switch over here. This kid, another one we've already talked about getting on for a behind the commitment, but JUCO guy, first one tonight that we're talking about that is coming from the JUCO route. All the other ones were high school kids, but he spent a year at Southwestern Junior College last year. He was named 2025 team captain, team MVP, West Coast kid, San Diego, California, first team All JUCO last year. He'll have 2 years of eligibility left because he spent a year at San Diego State and then a year at Arizona before ending up the JUCO route last year. But I'm excited for Jonah. We were in a battle. I'm going to pull it up here, but I think it was us, Cal, and Colorado for his commitment. So we beat out some West Coast West Coast schools to bring the West Coast kid to North Carolina. And I mean, Jonah is 6'4", 294. I'm not sure where the staff will put him because we could use him anywhere on the offensive line. I know one thing that he mentioned in his somebody was interviewing him, his commitment. He was like, well, the biggest thing was early playing time. They're losing 7 offensive linemen. So this is a kid that's going to come in. He's got a leg up, as I mentioned, with these kids already having college experience, a few years in. So he'll be expected to play early, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, his first 2 years, didn't go as planned. So this is his chance to come. And he mentioned that the development would coach Will Friend and Bill Belichick. Obviously, Bill is known for developing players. So it'll be fun to watch Jonah and see and you can see this is another guy. Look at him get off his block, get downfield. Very good on his feet, playing tackle here. Just takes the kid completely out of the play. Completely out. Every one of these kids do a very good job, finishing blocks, and that's just nasty handwork right there. But I was watching this one, man, because I was worried that he was going to end up at Colorado, to be honest with you. So anytime that you can get a West Coast kid to come east is very good get. And Colorado had the final in-person meeting, and he still ended up coming to us.
Yeah, I think. Did you mention that he had his official during the Stanford game?
I didn't. No, that's a good thing to add.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate you filling in there for me for a minute. I believe it was a State fan talking crazy in the comments, so we had to do a little kick, if you know what I mean. Had to kick him out. Talking crazy.
Dang, hey, I missed it. You'll have to tell me about it.
Yeah. His user handle on YouTube, he's not in the comments anymore because I banned him, was Dave Doring 69. You've got it bad when you have to label your YouTube handle that.
Great guy.
Yeah. What a guy, man. All right. So before we transition, I would like to welcome a good friend and founder of the Tar Pit podcast to the stage. Where did he go? There he is. Oh, nope. There he is. There he is.
There he is.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, my
dog?
guy? I'm not sure if I like the shade of that jacket, though.
Dude, I got back from my wife's salon Christmas party and dealing with some unexpected family news, and threw on the first pair of sweats and the first sweatshirt I saw. You're lucky I didn't come in here with my Grinch ugly Christmas sweater on that lights up. I should have came in here.
I would have liked that. That would have
that
made good content.
that
You have to
that
go get it.
that red was a little too red for me. This is almost like a maroon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can live with it.
Well, it's good to have you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys holding it down while I had some stuff I had to take care of. But
You
wanted to
came
jump
in at the perfect time. You get to talk about specialists.
Yeah, wanted to jump in here and talk with you guys. I'm excited for these guys though, man. The trenches, the guys that we've got coming in. We talk about, the class as a whole being a foundation class. Belichick said it himself. We've talked about it off air, how we feel this class could really lay the foundation for this new era of Carolina football. And I think it obviously starts up front on both sides of the football. We've seen that this year with our offensive line and our D line. And I think we got some good pieces, some good young guys coming in that we can get them on campus early, develop them. I will say be patient with these young guys, because offensive and defensive line are the two positions across the board where you don't see the fruits of your labor or the development. It takes longer to develop at those two positions. So,
Troy, if you don't mind, let's me and you talk a little bit about that more, maybe for 3 or 4 more minutes while Trevor's loading in a little bit more media before we go kicker and then defensive line, or kicker, punter, defensive line. You mentioned, foundational class. You talked about that, kind of like what Bill Belichick, mentioned in his presser. And, I'll admit I've been frustrated, of course, like anybody, as we finished out this season with so many close games. And, this isn't a cope or anything like that. It's just the reality is like watching those two teams last night in the ACC championship. I mean, one was a 2-point conversion away from winning, and one was, situational football that just didn't go our way, right? With a fake field goal. We were playing block, and in our opinions, we've talked about it on the pod, should have been playing safe, but anyway, I didn't really quite understand the meaning of I understand the meaning of when someone says foundational class, but I did not quite understand how these commits could be the foundational class if they pan out the way that Belichick and Lombardi are expecting, until I started watching film. Behind the commitments, but that's not so much about watching their film, right? You'll watch a little bit, but it's more about their story, their journey, who they are as people, where they come from. But over the past 2 to 3 weeks, as the season dwindled down, I've started flipping my attention to diving into film, and you can kind of see that as I put up on my Twitter some of those things.
I love that stuff you've been doing, dude. You've shouted out the guy, even the transfers that we've had. Like you've done a great job at shouting those out. I'll let you keep going. I had to tell you that.
Thanks, man. I know I'm kind of going a little long, but I didn't quite see how good each individual player is. Man, just like a Crew Davis, right? That's I think an 88, a high 3-star, but he fits the mold of a Belichick type guy that you saw him go get in the NFL and mold into what he wanted. And so talk a little bit about that and what that means to you, the foundational class. And Trevor, you can shoot it into a private chat when you're ready for the special teams and going into the defensive line. But man, I just really thought I'm making my way and I'm individually diving in, looking at film. And that's when it started to hit me like, wow, this kid's super talented. And I'll say too, we were super close to landing. What's Walker's first name?
Or
what's the kid?
Starts with an A.
What's the kid? No, what's the kid that we just missed out on that went to South Carolina?
Yeah.
Julian.
Yeah, Julian. I didn't mind that comment by that coach. That high school coach saying that, he was distracted because Belichick just kept throwing money at him and was on the phone for an hour. I was like, hell yeah. That shows me that Belichick is understanding what this era is about. It's about, of course, the player wanting them to be at the school, but also a lot of times giving the most money.
Yep.
And people are like, oh, this is shade at Belichick. Even Shane Bamer throwing up the little, sign on Twitter thing that doing it. Just bro, this should not even been a hard decision for him because his dad is on staff at South Carolina. That's what everybody was missing out on, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm talking like this. I want to talk about the foundational class. Like even that made me know that, man, he's locked in.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what you kind of see with this foundational class.
When I think of foundation, it's one thing to call a class, just any class, a foundation class, but with this one, yes, I look at the upside that each player brings and what they can do as soon as they hit the campus and kind of what we think they can be with some development and everybody getting in early. But when I think of foundation, I look at the depth that Carolina got, not just the trenches that we're talking about tonight and the specialists, but you look at, we'll talk about it in the secondary. You look at the wide receivers that we signed. I think the two positions that we signed the least amount of players at are quarterback and running back. So when I think of foundation, I do think how you think with the ceiling, the high ceiling of each player, and the potential that they can be. But I also look at depth and Belichick and Lombardi and the scouting department and, how the season went. They kind of found out some areas that they need. My bad if my camera was moving. They found out some areas that they need to address. I think they found that out after the season. They found it out during the season. They're finding it out now that the season's over. And I think that had a lot to do with why so many guys were signed at different positions. You load up on guys, you get them in the building, you get them on campus early. You start working them out and getting them on the nutrition program and start getting these guys developed for college football. You can see a few freshmen, contribute in a major way because the talent of this class, I'm not necessarily worried about. It's the development of them. I've told you guys that the development of these players throughout this new era of Carolina football and with Belichick on campus and Moses is going to be very, is very important to me as a fan. I want to see how these guys develop and what we're going to do with these foundation pieces. So that's my spiel on the foundation aspect of it. Upside, ceiling, and depth. That's the thing that I associate the most with when I talk about foundation. And honestly, too, you can make the argument of the attitude of these guys. Fellas, we've had so many of these players. We've had quite a few of these players on. Hell, guys, we had 6 of them on at one time. And you can kind of just see the mindset. And if you have it, if you are new to the Tar Pit and want to go back and check that episode out, please do so on our YouTube. It's on there. Just go give it a look. It's 2026 class update, I think is the way it's labeled. But we had 6 2026 commits jump on live with us and talk about their mindset and what they're bringing to Carolina. That to me, hearing these guys talk, and Chris, you said it, looking at the tape, the eye in the sky don't lie, and the talent's there. It's just a matter of getting them on campus and developing them and putting them in the right positions to make plays.
Good stuff.
And the thing too, man, which we know because we do this, but from the outside looking in, most people are like, oh, this is Belichick's second class. This is his second year. Well, keep in mind, Belichick didn't technically sign till like December 13th last year, right? By that point, all them high school kids had already committed. It was like signing day was like right there. And all Belichick's attention went to getting Bryce Young from going to Bryce Baker from going to Penn State, right? So this is really their first class, like that they've had the chance to actually spend a year building relationships with, spend a year watching film on, watching high school games, going out to the games, seeing them in person. So that's something big too. They've met with these parents, they've built relationships with these kids.
Yeah. Trevor, while I got you on the main screen here, I kind of want to, just give us maybe a 2-minute, your thoughts, and just to sum up, kind of tie a bow on the offensive line, kind of like your overall thoughts on what the Belichick and Lombardi and the recruiting staff did here.
I posted the video earlier. Lombardi's preached it to you, but it's true. You build a team from the inside out. Look at all these teams in the college football playoff. Even JMU, I think their whole offensive line are all Sun Belt. Like you build your team. Offensive line and defensive line is so important. That's why they're the most expensive guys other than quarterback to get in the portal. And we've got some kids with very high ceilings. I don't remember the last time we brought in this many, highly ranked offensive linemen in the same class. It's been a while, and they're all massive, dude, and multiple sport athletes playing dual sports. They're not just big and just football players. Like, they're athletic kids. So I'm excited, man. And we mentioned that one of the surprises was the defensive line and their development. Like, I have not, and I even going back to our DBs, dude, I don't remember last time I seen a DB turn around and look for the ball. And we've seen that a couple of times this year. Like, these coaches, there's a reason Belichick won 6 Super Bowls. He does know what he knows football. There's not many people that know more football than Belichick. So he knows how to develop players. He knows what he's looking for in players. And you mentioned it, Troy, the attitude is big. You got to tell a lot of these kids to stop. That's something you can't teach. They want it. They love football. So I think the ceiling's very high.
Yep. See this comment right here. Trevor and Troy, they know by Eric, they know they need these guys to pop in 1 to 2 years. They understand that they don't have 4 to 5 years to get it right.
That's why I think the development of these young guys is so important. Like, you get them, I think, 36 out of the 39 signees that we've got are going to be on campus early. That's a big deal. Like, how many times in years past did we have guys waiting, till their senior year was done, to get on campus? So I think, that aspect of it is very, very important. It's going to, I mean, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how these young guys develop. You got a chance, an opportunity to get at them early. So, and it's all in how receptive the player is to it as well. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. Well, while I got you there on the main screen, Troy, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to you for kicker, and then Troy, I'm gonna kick it to you, or Troy, I'm gonna kick it to you to kicker, and Trevor, I'm gonna kick it to you to punter. Kicking for punter and kickers, right? A guy that's been committed for a long time, David Green, kicker out of High Point, North Carolina. Super accurate, very strong leg for a high school kid. I think this was a great find. Troy, kind of give us a little bit of thoughts of the overall to David, and then you don't have to have my slide in there at the end. Just go ahead and kick it to Trevor for the punter, and we'll move to defensive line.
So David's a guy that comes in 2024. He was an all-state selection here in North Carolina, made 7 and 9 field goals as a junior, connected from 52 yards in the preseason, and also hit a 40-yarder. But, when you look at his tape, you look at, you're looking at a kid that's highly efficient. He's highly accurate. He's got a leg on him. He can connect from deep. You'll see here a couple of these are pretty deep field goals. But I mean, you look at the way our offense was this season, and you look at the importance of Reese Verhoff in some of these games. You know what I mean? Look at the UVA game, for example. Had a chance to kick a game-winning field goal, and Reese. I mean, look how deep this kick is. This is arguably almost over a 50-yard field goal that he cashes in. So it's good to have a young guy that you can get in the building, start getting him used to the different ins and outs of the college special teams game. It's very situational, and special teams is a part of the game that can really flip a game upside down. You look at the Wake Forest game for Carolina. You don't have 2 field goal blocks. It's an 18-21 game in the fourth quarter. So the importance of a kicker is you need one. And for us to be able to snag one 5'10", 170 out of the home state, I think it says a lot. I think it shows the importance of special teams to this staff. Not only just Belichick, but excuse me, the staff overall. So excited to have a guy like David come in and to see his development as well. We need a kicker. I think this is Reese's lone year in Carolina. So be interesting to see what we do in the portal, but being able to get a young guy, in-state young guy at that position not only shows you the importance, but I think it's pretty neat that they were able to get a guy and bring him in.
Yeah, and before we switch real quick, Chris, I want to add something. So David is ranked by Rivals as the #1 kicker in the country. When's the last time, if ever, maybe the Barf brothers, that we signed the #1 kicker in the country? Like, this kid is a really good kicker. And you notice, you talk about the Wake Forest block, one of his, I think it was the Coles Kicking Academy or kicking camp, or I'm not sure what they call it, but one of their scouting reports was generates elite lift on his field goal. And you saw that video, that 50-yarder he kicked, how high that ball was up with plenty of room to go. I mean, throughout his 3 seasons in high school, first 3 years, went 126 for 126 on PATs with 109 touchbacks. Kid's got a boot. Go ahead.
No, if I'm not mistaken, he was a Polynesian Bowl participant as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. Friday, January 16th, 2026 at 9 p.m. on NFL Network. You can catch our guy, David Green, future Tar Heel, kicking field goals on TV, folks.
Yeah, but I'm gonna transfer over. We'll move.
Whoa,
over
easy now.
We'll move over to Adam Kane.
Listen, I love this comment right here.
Yeah, appreciate you, Eric. That's right.
Bubba Sparks 369 says, "Chris, don't block me."
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Bubba Sparks. He can't get 6'9" out of his name. He's back again with 6'9" in his name. But Adam, man, he's a flip from Penn State. A lot of these guys on here, we've already mentioned a few tonight that were flips from other colleges. Obviously, Penn State lost their coach, who's at Virginia Tech now, but this kid's from Ireland. These Irish punters seem to they must have some kind of Irish punting academy that they go through when they're young. There's a lot of punters that come from Ireland, but he's he played senior level soccer since age 14. So I'm guessing that's a pretty big deal over there, but he's a kid. Look at this, 52 yards, hang time 4.8 seconds. When's the last time y'all tried punting a football? You realize, like, it's hard to kick it 20 yards and get it to hang for freaking like this is a good addition to the room. At March 2025 Coles spring rankings, I don't know exactly how these, I'm guessing this is pretty good though. 106.3 points in punting, 114 on kickoffs, so he can do kickoffs as well, and 11 for 15 on field goals. This note here, it says demonstrates clear Division I talent as both a kicker and punter, shows maturity beyond his age with strong mental discipline, which is huge for kickers, right? The mental part of it is one of the biggest things. Projects as a high upside specialist who compete early due to his versatility and international training background. So the staff nailed it with Reese last year. I think our punter, Tom McGinnis, I think that he showed very good growth this year. At times, man, he was locked down inside the 20. Tom was on a roll. I would love to see those numbers, but I'm happy to see anytime you can get 2 big-time kickers, it always helps you because special teams is a key. We saw it play a few times this year.
I tell you what, he's according to what I'm reading online, he's from Northern Ireland, played Gaelic football for Glen. I don't know if you know anything about Gaelic football or not, but it's like a cross between rugby, soccer, and basketball. And looking at him punt on film, I can't help but notice how the size of him. He's a punter that's got a little bit of build on him too. So he looks to be an athlete. Obviously the hang time that you mentioned, Trevor, is a big deal. I do agree. I think Tom was huge for us in pinning teams back. So again, with Adam, it shows the importance of special teams to this staff, and props to them for going to get him.
Chris is over here battling this steak. I will say though, Chris, I mean, the poor guy, he's got to watch some recruiting somewhere. They didn't sign many recruits over there, so he's got to tune into some kind of recruiting show somewhere to get some sort of background.
I mean, it's just so lame. Like, do something else with your life if you're a State fan other than watch our video about recruiting. It's like, Carolina fans always get excited about, recruiting. You must be new to the Tar Pit. Y'all know how I can get. You guy must be new to the Tar Pit Podcast. We're
They-
here after every loss. So,
They just won, 2 weeks ago? Like, why are they paying attention to what we got going on? That game's already over with. Like, leave us alone, dog.
Yeah. Hey, we got
Congrats.
some dogs we about to talk about, boys.
Congrats on the win, but don't mind us.
go live your life, you know? Like,
That's what I'm
live it.
saying. Go
Eat a
soak up
donut or a bowl of cereal. Like,
milk a
Go-
cow.
go play some video games. But anyway, hey, we got some big stuff to talk about next. Some boys that I know the pod's excited about. I know Trevor, I'm gonna let you kind of lead this one because you've had the opportunity to interact with no other than the man himself, Vodney Cleveland, Flip from Texas. This is one that we kind of hinted at, I think, the day before signing day to say, watch out for a spark's going to fly. We kind of knew, a few weeks actually leading up to signing day that it was already pretty much a done deal that Vodney was coming to Carolina. And this is a kid, man, you poll 100% of these, you poll every coach in America for college ball and do they want Vodney? Hell yeah, they'll take him. They'll take his commitment 10 times out of 10. So, Trevor, go ahead and take it away on Vodney Cleveland. Kind of give us your overall thoughts. I mean, this is a guy you want, the type of player that you want anchoring your defensive line for sure.
Yeah, Vodney, he's an Alabama kid, originally committed to Bama. Then he decommitted from Bama, stayed uncommitted for a little while, ended up committing to Texas. And kudos to this staff, man. They did not back down. We they were still in Vodney's ear, and he mentions that was a big thing. Like he said, they showed me love throughout the whole process from start to finish. And anytime you're committed somewhere and then you still say, oh, Vodney's here. Oh, cool. Oh, Vodney's back again. Oh, okay. So Vodney must like what he's seeing, man. And what do we speak about? This development on this defensive line. You could see it from these kids are, what we had the true freshman, Xavier, what was his Xavier Jackson? What was the kid's name that played a lot? I'm having a moment. We'll have to pull it up. Roseville kid, but he was playing at a high level as a true freshman. At one time was the highest rated true freshman in the country. But Vodney is, you mentioned it, every coach in America would take him as an SEC guy. Very, very good football player, big kid. I want to say, I'm going to add to the stage here. Oh, wrong one. Chris, can you pull up his, I'll let you do it. You're better at that than me, but his frame, the picture, I want to see his size. I think he's Vodney's 6'5", 330, I want to say. 6'3", 320 is what he's listed at there, but D-line, obviously Vodney will be a D tackle for us. He's very, very strong at initial surge. You watch him work out. I remember we knew before because we were told, but you saw him working out. He was wearing the Carolina before he ever decommitted. He was wearing the Carolina sweatshirts working out. And this kid at his size, man, is freaking fast. He's got a motor.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ones we talk about. You got to tell him to hold up. One of the guys on the staff, literally the recruiting staff, told me, like, Vodney is, you watch him and he's like, he's got it, right? Some kids got it. And they want to, you got to pull him out of the gym. I thought this was cool. He'll enroll at UNC before turning 18. Like, he's young, and but he does a very good job getting in the backfield, man. He can line up at the O-Tech or one-Tech. Go ahead, Troy.
No, I was going to say the one thing I like about him is, you talk about his ability to get in the backfield. He's a gap filler. Look at his frame, though. That's what I love the most. If I'm Moses Cabrera, I'm drooling at the mouth to get this dude on campus to start developing him and getting him in the weight room and the nutrition program. But what I think Vodney brings to me is a guy that you get him on campus and with his motor and his skill set, he's a guy that you can come in as a freshman and instantly make a difference. I feel like with his frame and his stature, he is somebody he's a big gap filler. At looking at the tape with Vodney, what I like the most about his game And I talked about it with our defensive line. And I know the last 2 games of the season, they didn't really hold up what I was raving about, and that's their ability to tackle at the first level. I mean, we saw guys in the relentless pursuit of stopping the run that Carolina's defensive line, DeAndre, some of those other guys across the line, CJ Mims, their ability to tackle, at the first level was amazing. And I think Vodney in his tape, he is a guy that you get him on campus, you get him in the nutrition program in the weight room, and you start developing, him and him, doing, getting his fundamentals right and working on his own and expanding his game. He can be a centerpiece and an anchor for this Carolina defense for years to come. I'm super excited to have him. I think his ceiling is super high, and he could be a difference maker in Carolina blue for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, somebody asked earlier, freshman they expected to see play. I could see Vodney playing next year.
Yeah, and Eric said it right here too, Cleveland and Ruffin, and we'll get to our guy Trey Sean here in a little bit, but I'm with you, Eric. Cleveland and Ruffin, not even just the frame that those guys bring or the motor, but their ability, I shouldn't say their motor, because their motor is one of the things I'm more excited about. Their work ethic and how much they love being at Carolina, especially Trey Sean. I know Rodney loves being a Carolina Tar Heel, but Trey Sean for sure.
Yeah. All good stuff there on Vodney Cleveland. He's definitely one that, like I said, if you ask every college coach, right, do they want Vodney Cleveland to commit to their program? It's going to be a yes. I mean, he made the flip from Texas to Carolina. I know that was a big one that the whole fan base was wanting for a long time. But I think it was was it Texas that had the Lamborghinis all lined up?
Yeah, he was revving that thing up.
I guess the Lamborghinis were not strong enough to keep him. So, which I've always thought that was interesting. Like I know you can't take a Toyota NASCAR home with you, but
I was about to say we had a NASCAR. We had a damn race car on the field.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, flexing a Camry." It's like, bro, if you actually look at the stats, I think a Toyota has won the Cup. I think 3 out of the last 7 or 8 years or something. Like,
I don't know. Chevrolet won it this year. Kyle Larson, baby, Team Hendrick. Come on.
Who owns that car though? Jordan.
Yeah,
that's what I was excited about.
Yeah, that's
Jordan involved in the football program.
He's got his hands full right now with lawsuits, though. So
that's Tyler Reddick. That's Tyler Reddick's car.
We'll
I remember
how that plays out.
I remember that race. He drove that car. I thought that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, Vodney, man, we were watching it. We knew there was expected time that he was supposed to announce, and we weren't hearing anything. And then a Texas Yahoo Sports said he signed with Texas, and North Carolina couldn't get him. And we're like, oh no, what's going on? So I was very relieved to see Vodney commit to us.
All good stuff, guys. Well, another one up is another friend of the Tar Pit podcast. Troy, if you could throw up that Eric Collins comment. I was saving it, but you went ahead and hit it, which is totally fine. No, you're good. It was a good comment by Eric. I mean, if you look at these two, Cleveland and Ruffin, it's hell of a foundation on the D line, and just like the offensive line, you saw trends, right? You saw trends, that big guys that can fill up space, but also guys that play dual sports, that are athletic, that are flexible at the hips, that can bend, that can push guys, just hold space, There's a thing about taking up space, but there's also about taking up space and holding your space well, right? When it comes along the defensive line and offensive line. One of the things that I saw across the defensive line this year that Carolina has struggled with for so many years is that we'd get high-end players and they just wouldn't stick to their assignments, right? They wouldn't stick to the hole. They would freelance a lot, and that's what got our run game a lot of times in trouble in the past years under Mac Brown. And this year I can say, I always have trouble. Is it Bob Diaco that came over from? He was a head coach at UConn, I think at one time, right?
At one point, and LSU staff at one point too.
He just did such a good job, and I think Trey Sean, Eric's hitting it right on the head. Cleveland and Trey Sean can anchor this D line in the coming years. another, native of North Carolina, North Duplin High School. I want to get some of the high notes. One of the things I kind of want to talk about but just kind of mention with Trayshawn is that I'm curious to see how quick that, he's going to be able to translate his game, from North Duplin to Carolina. Right. And this is no slight to North Duplin or anything like that, but it's a lower, not tier, what's the right word? Classification, right? Program, smaller school. So you're not going up against per se that talent entrenched classification, like, a higher end high school. So it's going to be interesting, how quickly his game translates. But I will say that he's a hard worker, and I have no doubt that his talent will transpire. I'm just curious if it will take just a tiny bit more time. But I also do like that it could come at a good time or come quicker than a lot of people think, because he is enrolling early. Troy, I'm gonna kick it to you first, and then Trevor, we're gonna keep it to about 3 to 4 minutes for each, so we can get it all in here before 11 o'clock, hopefully. So Troy, take it away.
Yeah, Trayshawn's a guy, man, that comes in, and he was first on the board when Carolina on signing day, when Carolina had Zooms with all the signees for a reason. He's a guy that he's excited to be a Carolina football player. He's excited to be in Chapel Hill. He loves everything about the program, and I'm excited to have him in our program. Guys like him don't come around very often in this day and age in Carolina in college football. So it's exciting to have Trayshawn. In terms of his talent, he's a big body. He's another gap filler, just like Vodney is. But he's athletic on his feet. He's got a relentless pursuit to get into the backfield, and he's another guy that does a really good job at tackling at first sight and at that first level. So I'm with Eric. You talk about two guys that, if you're Carolina fans, you feel pretty good about the future with, and my two guys on that D line are Tawn Ruffin and Vodney Cleveland. Obviously, the other guys that we'll talk about tonight are going to be huge players for us, we feel like. But super excited to have Trayshawn officially signed with Carolina.
Yeah, Trevor, give us a few thoughts here to close out Trayshawn Ruffin.
Yeah, man, Trayshawn is another guy. His size, man, the way he's able to move on his feet, his how athletic he is. I mean, he's a bully. You watch his film, man, and he's bullying kids. He's just eating blocks, holding his ground, dominating them, right? And one thing about Trayshawn that just from the few times we've interacted with him and speaking to his dad, he's got really good freaking work ethic. He's another one that I think him and Vodney can make an impact their freshman year. We're gonna see how it transpires, but with their size, man, that's one thing you can't teach, and they both love to work. So he's very good at using his raw power. I remember when I was watching his film, he played O-line and D-line for his team. Played both sides of the ball, and he was leading blocks for touchdowns. He's got excellent grip. He's explosive with his hips. So it's exactly what you need at a D tackle, elite size though.
Yeah, it's good to see Nick back in the chat on YouTube. Super. Maybe he's been watching the whole time, but I think this is his first comment that I've seen tonight. It's really good to have Nick back in. He was super active last time, but it's just a good note. Tron's dad, Sean, is a legend. Love that guy. Fun note, North Duplin was a 1A last year, just got bumped up to 2A this season. So I appreciate you mentioning that, Nick. I wasn't aware. I knew that they were classification, on the low end of 1A. I did not know that they got bumped up to a 2A this season. So always good to know stuff like that, Nick. We really appreciate that, dropping that knowledge in here. And we appreciate you being here as well. The next one up is one that I've actually just started some game footage breakdown. My personal self, as you've seen on Twitter, I've started to do some of that and put them kind of like what I've seen. And I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce his name at all. I should have done my due diligence going in tonight and listen. That's what I like to do. And I don't know how to pronounce a certain player's name. I will go and look up like a news clip from when they were committing and hopefully the news reporter has it right, per se. That's actually a quick little story is that prior to this season, we were doing our position breakdowns, and we were talking about Damon June. And we recorded a whole hour and 15-minute video. And for 5 minutes, we talked about Damon June, and we called him Demon June. And we were about to post that video. And I said, this just doesn't feel right. No disrespect to mom or anything like that. They named their kid Demon. I'll roll with it, but I just don't feel like that's possible. So I did some deep searching, went on YouTube, typed them in, and I found a news clip, and it was Damon. I was like, guys, I called the guys. I was like, we got to record this whole thing. I know y'all might think I'm overreacting here, but there's no way we can call a kid Demon when his name is Damon. And I actually hated that because Troy went on like a 3-minute go about his game and compared his game to Javonte Williams. And I think that might be one of the best comps I've ever heard and how he performed this year. But
then we were like, watch Syracuse game. He's going to break out. And we didn't ever get to post that, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's right. But this is a kid. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, and I apologize to him. I'm just going to roll with good old Jimmy. That's my dad's name, so that's what I'm going to roll with. But one of the things that just jumps off right off from the get-go, for him is that, man, I want to say if there is a player, and I know it seems like I've mentioned it quite a few with them, if there is a player that has not gone under recruited, to me, it's gone under the radar with Carolina fans. This is a kid that a lot of people have not even mentioned in the recruiting class. I'm talking about in the Twitter sphere or Facebook or YouTube, or just talking about the recruiting class as a general. They get excited about Vodney, Trayshawn, all that. But I tell you, this kid right here, he's a 4-star. It's a 4-star defensive lineman coming out of Texas. Ty Nichols, I believe, was his lead recruiter there that has a lot of strong connections in Texas. And he just went in there and pulled this kid out. I mean, listen to this. This was a kid that had offers from Auburn, Baylor, BYU, Houston, Kansas, Miami, Michigan, Ohio State, Oklahoma, TCU. I only say that because they, did what they did to us. Texas A&M. I mean, Oklahoma, if I didn't mention that one. I mean, this kid, super talented kid, 4-star coming out of, I think it was Katy, Texas. Or no, I'm not sorry. He plays at Katy Jordan High School in Texas. His family comes from Hawaii, which is another interesting note. And Trevor, I'm going to kick it to you first since I kicked it to Troy first last time. This is another kid. We've had a few players in here that's been All-American, but this kid was tabbed as a Max Preps All-American, man. Just not a kid that I've also seen active on social media. So maybe that's why he's gone, under the radar when it not under recruited, but under the radar when it comes to fans is 4-star Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy. I wish I could know his name.
We'll call him
4-star Jimmy.
4-star Jimmy, son.
I know.
He's
is that
another
what I
one.
sound like?
No,
I just.
At least it's not like my dad. My dad's Jimmy Leo.
Oh yeah.
If that's not a Southern name, I don't know what is. He's
long
a junior
time listener. Call into the show.
We had a friend, a family friend. We called him. His name was Jimmy Lee. We called him Worm. R.I.P. Worm. If my buddy Mike's in here, that was his uncle. Best painter I've ever known in my life.
Hey, look at this comment. I love this comment right here, man. This stuff like this means a lot to us because it's like I wake up thinking about this. I go to sleep thinking about this.
Yeah. We appreciate that, Nick. That means more to us than brother. So we appreciate you dropping that in, and appreciate your activity in the chat too, man. Chiming in. Anybody that knows information that we mess up on here or don't mention, throw it in the chat. We'll get it on there.
Yeah, this kid's size, man. I'm glad you brought that up. 6'3", 270. He's a rush end. He's Polynesian Bowl. I think he's the second one we talked about tonight that'll be playing in that game. Look at him off the line, man. Beating blocks. There's, Katy Jordan, Texas football boys. They play some good football out there in Texas, obviously. Doesn't take a scientist to know that. But this kid's good. And I'm glad you mentioned he's not talked about near enough, especially because of the amount of kids we had. But I'll be honest with you, I had forgot all about how talented he was until I was watching this film last night. He's a kid that had, 37 tackles this year, 13 tackles for loss, four sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Last year he had 70 tackles total as a defensive end with 70 tackles. Kid was all over the field. He's got leverage, power, excellent with his hands. If you watch him when he's getting off blocks, his hand usage is elite. His motor, there was one clip where a kid's running, down the field, looks like it's going to be a touchdown. He runs them down from across the field. I love watching those, man. The effort, not giving up on a play, nonstop aggressive motor, plays with maximum effort every snap, brings a toughness and physical edge that I'm excited about, because we need, these D linemen, you want mean, tough D linemen. And this kid coming all the way from Texas, and he's never, wavered. He's been committed for a while. So you forget about these guys because they commit so early and you don't hear much about them. But he's a kid that will be, I hope that he's early enrollee. I think he is. So it'll be curious to see when he gets down here, how quick he can get on the field, because he shows a lot of talent.
Yeah, Troy, any last thoughts? And then I want you to just roll right into the next one for us.
Yeah, I'll say this about him. Watching his tape, he was a guy that, honestly, man, be completely honest with you, bro, no knock to him, but he got lost in the weeds for me. But going and looking on it, because this class is deep, but going and looking at his tape, man, he's a guy that's, to me, that could come in and develop with his tools and his knack for the football, his nose for the football. I think he could be really good with us. One comp I'll throw out there from looking at this tape, he was on our roster this season's Melcart. His game, the way his presence on the field, and just some of his intangibles, I think he reminds me a lot of Melcart that we had this year. So, and if he pans out like Melcart did, we'll take it. So,
I'd love to know if Melcart's going to be back next year.
I was going to say and hopefully have next year too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just that. You guys have mentioned my player comps. Y'all know I'm quick to bring up a player comp in a heartbeat.
I know I got a lot of shade for my player comp from last, not shade, but I can, I compared a quarterback to a state player.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but JJ said it was a good one.
Quarterback.
He's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take that.
He beat us.
Yeah. Troy, go ahead and roll into the next one for us. One I'm excited about. And also, Trevor, we want to give you a few comments on this one as well. I know that you followed his recruiting very closely. I'm not sure. I don't think any of us have had any communication with him, but I could be wrong. Troy, kick it off.
Well, I'm going to need y'all. You mispronounced old Jimmy. I'm going to need some help with this one. If you guys are willing to help me pronounce his name. Trevor, you know it? Villami.
Yep, you got it right there.
Villami Moala.
Moala.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I guess we probably should have studied this a little bit more before we hopped on. Maybe I will keep that in mind for our next position breakdown. But
I think Trayshawn's dead. Sean called him Moana. I remember him calling. I don't remember what it was. It was like Moana or something. I was like, "Who are you talking about? Who you talking about, Sean?" He was like, "He's just a beast, man. We gonna get him." I was so happy when he
was that on the phone.
Yeah.
This is a guy, man. D lineman, 6'2", 357. Another one of those guys, Trevor. I think you have a picture of him, Trayshawn, and Vodney at Carolina. Is that right?
I do. I need to get it in here. I'll try to find it real quick while you talk about him.
But you look at Villami, man. He's a guy, when you look at his tape, a relentless motor. Another anchor, 6'2", 357. West Valley City, Utah. So it's a guy, man, that's coming in, and it's going to be interesting to see how he develops. These guys, this defensive line, I feel like across the board is very consistent. And he's another guy that when you turn on his tape, you'll find a relentless motor, a guy that's his ability to get into the backfield and fill gaps and just a presence. He's a very hard force to move. But then again, he's coming at you. He's coming at you full speed. And his ability to tackle. Another thing that I've liked about all of these defensive linemen is their ability to tackle, man, at the first level. That's something to me that, if you're going to play D-line, it kind of understood. You shouldn't really need to have to teach somebody how to tackle. That position, you got to know how to tackle. You've got to have a nose for the football and being willing to get dirty and get it out the mud in the trenches, so to speak. So he's another guy that fits that mold and is bringing that mindset to Carolina. When I watch his tape, he's nasty with it. Y'all got to help me. Y'all got to forgive me. My throat's dry.
The clip there at the end before you cut it off, Chris, they played Grayson High School this year. So he plays at Thompson High School, which is a big-time program in Alabama. Connor Harrell, this is against Grayson. Unfortunately, Travis was out that game. He didn't end up playing. But they play big-time programs, big-time high school. And, this kid was originally committed to Oregon. He ended up decommitting from Oregon. We got him. 70 tackles in 13 games played this season, 15 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, but 70 tackles at the defensive tackle position, boys. At his size,
especially at D tackle.
That's getting after it, dude. Named 2024 Under Armour All-American, played in the Polynesian Bowl last year. As a junior, 99 tackles, dude. 12 and a half sacks. And what is he, 350? Gets all over the field. Some scouting notes here. Straight line bull rusher, shows good hands, quick first step, true nose, who can handle double teams, wins the block, stuffs the run, very strong, very tough, projects as a high power 4 prospect. Obviously, we know that. But I'm excited about them 3. I couldn't find that picture, but this is I don't remember the last time we brought in 3 D tackles with this caliber of, recruitment and these kids, this size. They're massive, dude. They are massive, and there's a high ceiling just for the D tackles we're bringing in.
Yeah, I got this picture for you right here, my guy. Give me like 10 seconds, and I'm loading it into the studio now.
One of the things I like about his game too, man, is like I said, just I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it just is relentless motor to just get after it. I mean, Trevor, you spit out his stats. That's insane for a D tackle.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. And I hope we're gonna have to. I'd love to have Trayshawn, Vodney, and him on the show together. We'll have to see if we can't get all 3 of them together for behind the commitment. Yeah,
Derek Brown, he plays defensive end, so never mind. Yeah, look at that right there.
Derek Brown, he's a nose D tackle.
Is he a D?
Derek Brown?
Yeah, is he a D tackle?
Yeah, he is.
There you go, right there. What did he have last year? How many tackles did he have last year? Like 90? Set an NFL record or something, or the year before last?
I don't remember on that. I think it was an NFL record though.
You talk about D tackles being able to get after it. I mean, that's 3 of them right there.
There's another, this is random, and I would love to know this because they look quite similar, but there was another nose tackle back in the day. I think his last game at California was 2014, went into the draft and was undrafted, but he had a short stint in 2014, I believe, with the Baltimore Ravens. Well, I was about to say I'd like to know if it was his dad, but this guy was born in 1993. But they had the same name.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking that up, I noticed that too. I was wondering. I did see that as well. But yeah, these 3, man, this is a foundation right here.
Yeah, that's good stuff for sure. I like this comment right here by Eric. I'm going to pull it up again and let you kind of talk about this a little bit, Trevor, if you want. Love the 6'3" and under guys. Leverages everything much harder for the 6'5" and up guys on the D line, on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up a little bit earlier when talking O-line. Willie Lampkin, man. Low man wins in the game, and these guys are massive and very good.
Yeah, I think that's always some of my biggest concerns when you see that 6'7", 6'8", I know we're talking about D line, but offensive line come in. Are they able to stay flexible enough to get low enough? And a lot of times those bigger, taller guys have really long, wingspans. Which one were we talking about earlier that had a 6'10" wing, or was it 6'10"
It was
wingspan?
Parks. I believe it was Parks.
Yeah, like it's a lot of times their hands can get loose. The law. I mean, you don't want like Will Campbell. That's fine.
Those guys are your tackles.
Yeah, I'll take
longer.
Campbell along the offensive line any day now. That's protecting Will Campbell, right? Protecting Drake, but he has shorter arms. But that's not quite desired upon, right? So you want somewhere kind of in the middle, because a lot of times their arms can get loose, if they're too long. So that's a good point by Eric. I always get a little nervous when I see 6'7", 6'8" as well. I think was it Howard Simpson? Oh gosh, dude, there were so many kids at the Christmas parade tonight doing like 6'7", 6. I was like, guys, come on, please. But anyway,
JJ's gonna have it stuck in my head for the rest of our tar pit career.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Yeah, JJ was throwing the 6'7" out almost the whole podcast last time. He did 6'7" and ended our stream.
That was perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right, here's another guy, 3-star David Jackson, Washington, D.C., Our Lady of Good Counsel High School, coming from Washington, D.C., the district. This is the guy that we've had a tiny bit of communication with. I know we're, chatting with him a little bit, trying to get it behind the commitment going. So hopefully be able to see that in the near future. But like I said, a kid coming out of Washington, D.C., another one, a 2-time first team, all conference, during junior and senior season, earning second team honors as well, his sophomore year. I mean, this is a kid that, this season alone, he tallied up 49 tackles, I believe it was, 13 tackles for a loss, and also 7 sacks to go along with that. During his junior campaign, he posted 115 tackles, 36 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks. That's a massive
115 tackles from a defensive lineman, bro.
I mean,
That's
36
crazy.
total tackles for loss.
He was living in the backfield. But I didn't know, this is another one, man. Him and Jimmy, that you don't Jimmy, I don't know why. Whenever you said that, it goes in my head every time.
3-star Jimmy. 4-star Jimmy. I'm sorry. 4-star Jimmy.
But they didn't get talked about a lot. David, when I watch his film, man, he's freaking a 4-sport athlete.
4 sports.
And his father played professional basketball overseas the last 18 seasons. Comes from an elite athletic family. So you watch his, I'm not sure much about, there's some good high schools in DC. I think Caleb Williams was from a high school up there. I'm not sure exactly where he played at, but this kid's got a good motor. You watch his film, he pops off. Anytime, man, you can have 36 tackles for loss in one season. That's a whole high school career right there.
Yeah, I'd like to
know.
And
he's violent, man. Like, look at him just throw down the kid and stare over him.
Was he injured at all his senior season? Do you know that by chance? Because that's a pretty drop off in production wise from junior to senior year.
I'm not sure. I was looking for that too. I think when I couldn't find anything about it, but he played basketball, track. Another guy that was on the wrestling team as well. So 2-time all conference player. I'd love to get him on for Behind the Commitment though, just to hear his story a little more and deeper dive, because I think he's a guy that's not as active I don't see him a lot on social media myself either.
He's more active on Instagram.
Okay,
that's where my communication has mostly been with David Jackson here, not 4-star Jimmy. That's what we're rolling with. Troy's 4-star Jimmy.
That sounds good.
But man, this whole group, dude, there's a lot of potential throughout all these guys. David's numbers, Troy, listen to this. Defensive lineman during his junior year posted 115 tackles, 36 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks.
Heck yeah.
That's living in the backfield.
I love that, dude. That's something's working for him.
Yeah, but this next one, man, we love this kid too. He came on a few times with us. Very excited to talk about him. I'll let you lead it, Chris.
Yeah, let's talk about the local kid. He was once committed to Carolina back in the day under Mac Brown, but then decommitted when that transition happened. And I'll always remember when people were saying Belichick won't recruit, he won't be able to connect with kids. And one of the things that we've heard over and over and over and behind the commitments and off camera with them behind the scenes here is that they all love him. He's a fun guy to be around. He'll go over his tape with them. Pardon me, go over their tape with them, and also just talk about what things they can do better. And they all just say he's funny, which is really interesting because that's kind of like that's like the opposite that you see from the podium, right? It's usually just full on, game and serious mode. And so, Xavon Griffin-Hayes, is a ESPN 4-star. I'm excited to see him. And one thing I'll always remember, I think forever that Xavon is a Tar Heel, I will always remember what I felt like was a broom closet photo of Belichick and him at his high school. Just like they were in an equipment room or something, right? And they just had to get it in, and they both looked really excited to be chatting.
That was his first visit. That was the first photo. That was on the McAfee show. I remember them posting that photo. That thing went viral.
Yeah, Troy, I know that I know that this is someone, as we all are very high on, but someone that you've followed his recruitment very, very closely. So I'm gonna kick it to you to kind of give some of your thoughts.
Yeah, my bad, man. I had to clear my throat. You guys, you got to be patient with me. I'm sorry, but yeah, Xavon's a guy, man, coming in, Roseville, North Carolina, Chris, as you explained it, committed under the Mac Brown era, decommitted, and was a guy that I was super excited that we were able to reel back in. I dropped it in a couple group chats. I said, we don't give up on Z just yet. I said, Bill's reeling him back in. So was super excited that he committed and committed again and signed with us. He's a guy that I have, you look at his frame and his stature, he reminds you a lot of Des Evans for Carolina. And I've heard a lot of people, mention that, when they look at the size of him and, how tall he is and how lanky he is. But he's a guy, coming from Roseville, which is, has been an up and coming powerhouse in the state of North Carolina. They've competed for, multiple, North Carolina high school football state championships. I know their head coach, Rainier Rackley, really well trained with him when I was coming up in high school before going off to college. And I know the mindset that he brings to the game of football and how he breathes that into his players. And it's evident when you watch and turn on the film and watch Xavon Griffin-Hayes play football. He's a guy, man, that it possesses a skill set and a knack and a nose for the football that's very, very unique. When you talk about and compare to the other guys in this D-line class for us, I think his ceiling is super, super high. If he can fill out into his frame, he's another guy that if I'm Moses Cabrera along with Vodney Cleveland, I'm drooling at the mouth to get this dude. How tall is he? Can we throw his graphic up there?
Yeah, I got you.
I do it, but I always do it outside the boundaries. 6'5", 235. He comes in, maybe adds, 10 pounds of muscle. And at 6'5", his frame, man, he's a guy that I could see, coming off the edge and
a lot of length.
I often, when you look at guys on roster, I find myself doing that too. Looking at guys that we've currently got on roster and just their measurables. I think Smith Vilbert is like 6'5" that we've had on roster, the Penn State transfer. And when I look at his body type and stack it up, compare it to Xavon's, they look a lot alike on the field. But he's got a skill set, man, that I think he's got a lot of game left to untap. I think he does. I think his ceiling and the work ethic. This is a guy, that is excited to be on campus. He's been excited to get on campus. He's been locked in with this 2026 class since he recommitted to Carolina. And he's another guy I think is excited to get on campus too and get to work early.
What I love about him, man, when you watch his tape, obviously he gets into the backfield. He had 16 tackles for loss, 7 sacks as a junior. But when he can't get there, man, he uses his frame so well. He gets up and so many batted balls with him, which is just smart football. Like you can't get there, get your hands up, knock the ball down. Which I remember when we were talking to him, it was like that was something he loved doing, batting balls down. He said picking, obviously picks, but he said he loved just getting his hands up. So this is a kid, elite athlete, exactly what you want from an edge rusher. 6'5", the frame. He's fast. His speed off the ball, the long arms. That's where long arms at the edge rushing position is very good. Excellent agility. I would like to see him put on a little more weight, which it'll be good to see him get in with Moses and getting that strength and conditioning program. But friggin' 44 offers, highly recruited kid. Ohio State was on him hard.
I think Auburn was on him hard.
At one point, boys, he dropped his top 4, and it didn't even include us. And this staff got him on the phone, and like 2 weeks later, he was on campus, and then he committed. So shout out to them doing a good job there. But he's go ahead, Chris. You got something?
I think if he talked about that a lot in our behind the commitment of how kind of all that went down is that Xavon reached back out, I think it was, right, to the staff and said, I want to come for an official, this weekend. Do you have a spot for me?
And they're like, you daggone right. We'll find a spot.
Isn't that how his last visit happened?
I think so. I believe they had reached out to him and they were still staying in communication. He was like, hey, I ain't got nothing going on. Can I come? And they were like, yeah, come on.
That's good. I would love to know. I would love to try to figure out his wingspan.
Yeah, he's long and lanky. I tell you, Trevor, you bring up his speed, and I mentioned something about him. I think he's got a lot of game left to be tapped into. I think his speed is an area that he could get. I think he could get quicker off the line, to be honest with you. I think now. Don't get me wrong, his motor and his ability and his just the nose for the football and the nose to get in the backfield makes up for that. You see a lot of him and you turn on his tape. He gets a lot of those plays where you think he's out of it. Then all of a sudden, boom, he uses that long wingspan to grab hands on a guy. And once he gets hand on you, it's over. So I think that's a part of his game that I think he can get better at and can really, get in the building and reap the benefits and get faster off the line.
Troy, as we close it out here, I kind of wanted to, that's the end of the defensive line. First off, I want to just give a shout out to our guy, Carolina Chubbs.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we do his name there, Carolina Chubbs, not, 4-star Jimmy or anything like that, but Carolina Chubbs. We appreciate him always tapping in and being a massive supporter of the Tar Pit podcast. Troy, Trevor had to kind of gave us the tie to bow for us for the offensive line. I'd like to kick it to you, man. Of course, Trevor, you can, always, give some final thoughts as well. I mean, but I'd like to get yours, Troy. And I'm excited about this D line. I think, they mirror while they're two different positions. You can definitely look at the O line and the D line, and they kind of mirror each other, with talent, but also just, technique is talent. Well, good technique is good talent, right? But just size. Man, you can definitely see, we hear Trevor talk about it all the time, building a team from the inside out. He cannot just get away from those 2 words because he's right. It's all about, at the P4 level, it's all about building the team from the inside out. He talked about it in his video that we put out today for him inviting people to this stream. And man, I'm really excited about this D-line. I think they're super talented, high character kids, hardworking kids, and kids that have a nose for the football. We've had interactions with a lot of them. Tawn Ruffin. Hey man, he was the first ever player that came to a game day live show.
Yep.
And for TCU, and we got to meet him in person and his dad Sean. Just outstanding individuals. So Troy, kind of tie a bow on it for us for the defensive line before we get out of here before 10:56.
Yeah, you bring up the mirroring of the offensive line and the defensive line. To kind of harp on that, I think for me in that regard is they mirror a lot of each other in the way that they bring a lot to the table that you just can't teach. You can't teach effort. You can't teach motor. You can't teach a want to, and just an ability to get after the football. You can't teach that. That's player driven. All the other stuff, you can get the guys in the building and dial them in and fine tune them. And then after that, it's whatever the player does with it. We look at Melcart and Tyler, what they were able to do in their individual pass rush. Belichick said it came from them wanting to do that. So I think with this defensive line, it's a class that they all bring something different to the table. And there's a lot of untapped potential with these guys. I'm anxious to see them get on campus and hear their names talked about in spring ball and leading into fall camp. So to put a bow on it, said it when I first joined in here, being late, guys, it starts up front. How many times you look, Trevor, you've said it, look at the teams in the college football playoffs. Those teams do a hell of a job at controlling both lines of scrimmage, and it starts there. And I commend the staff in finding guys that they liked. You could see that they were consistent across the board in their measurables. They found guys that hey, look, we want our defensive line 6'3" or and up. You know what I mean? So it's a class that I'm excited about. I'm excited for the defense overall. We're going to get into linebackers. We're going to get into the secondary, but it starts up front. And with this defensive line and the commits and the signees that we've got, they give us a great foundation. And I'm excited to see them get on campus and see what they can do.
Yeah, Trevor, kind of talk about too some of the hearts of these kids. I know like Zion Smith, Big Z is what his nickname is, and we expect everybody to call him by that since we gave him that nickname for sure. But he did a turkey drive for Thanksgiving. Talk a little bit more of that.
Yeah, Big Z. He had a camp too, didn't he? Do a camp, I believe. We had him on talking about his camp. Trayshawn just did a camp couple weeks back. Xavon toy drive. I mean, that was I don't remember seeing a high school kid do a toy drive, like right away.
Brother.
Yeah, him and his brother both getting in and doing that together. I mean, they come from, and luckily, man, with doing this, what I love about this, boys, is getting a chance to not only connect with these kids, but their families, right? They come from, good families, good background. So this is what you want in your locker room. Kids that love the game, which you talking to them, watching them play, they love the game. And then just good locker room guys, man. It's going to be fun to watch. And I think that's, when you talk about identifying their miserables and all that, but also their, relentlessness to play the game, but also they're good kids overall, good backgrounds, multi-sport athletes.
Yeah, can I chime in on the heart? That's what I think stands out the most about these guys. We can talk about their own field talent and their potential all we want, but everyone we've talked to, they bring, they're good. They're good kids. They got good heads on their shoulders. They got good hearts, and they've got work ethic, and that's what I'm most excited about. So that's all I got, fellas.
Hey, good job tonight, boys. We kept it. You said under 11. It's right at 11. Good job.
I know we're trying to shore something up in the private chat real quick to see if we can say when we're going to be on next to finish out the linebackers or to finish out the defense, which would be the linebackers and safeties. I think Troy is typing right now, so give us 1 second, seeing if we can.
Linebackers and DBs.
What did I say? What did I say?
Safeties. We got some corners in there too.
Okay. Well,
but I'm good. I'm good with that time, Chris. So if you want to roll with it, I'm good with that time.
Okay. I think Troy is still typing.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes work.
The suspense.
Troy, you just let us know if you want us to hold off.
If you guys want to do tomorrow night, that's cool. I just don't know with my schedule. Obviously, you guys, I'd love to be here for linebackers because I think I love the linebacker class that we got coming in.
Wednesday night? Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm not sure because stuff's going on.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to say, man. If y'all want to do tomorrow night, cool. I can try to jump in on the old cell phone, just give my thoughts quick. I'm mobile, so we'll figure it out. If y'all want to do tomorrow night, cool. If I can, I'll join in. If stick around for as long as I can.
Okay. Trevor.
Same thing. Same thing.
Hey guys, this is the Tar Pit Podcast. We trying to make these decisions on the roll so we can get back to you guys because we want to do our next up. And
let's do Wednesday.
Okay.
Let's do Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. All right. Wednesday. Because we're trying to get this, not that we want to get it out of the way quick, but we want to do our season recaps. We're going to do a 2-part series of that. We're going to do the offensive side of the ball, and then we're going to do the defensive side of the ball, giving our thoughts on kind of like how it went overall for the team for this year.
What's next?
Got to have Bryn on for the offensive side of the ball.
Yes, for sure.
For that.
But look, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do Wednesday night. We're going to tap back in. So be sure to tap back in with the Tar Pit Podcast. We're going to be covering the secondary and linebackers, some more dogs in those rooms for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to talk about. I know the linebackers for sure. There is some beast, but there's also some cornerbacks that you also see length and size prototypical. Is for like a cornerback is anywhere from like 5'10" to like 6'2". And there's one that I really love, his size and his potential and his arm span. Yeah, arm span. So man, I'm excited about that. So 8:30 on Wednesday night. Be sure to be back with us. We'll be live on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, just want to mention one more time, if you're looking for some game day gear, maybe you're headed out to see the men or the women play, or headed out to an Olympic sport, make sure you tap in over at Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head over there on Franklin Street, or online at shrunkenhead.com. Just use the code TARPITPOD. You'll get 15% off your whole order. It goes a long way, guys. Look, I know the holidays are coming up. Twitter. Where did that come from? I know that the holidays are coming up and New Year's is coming up. Maybe you want to give somebody a New Year's gift. If people do that, you know where to go get it, so you can get 15% off your whole order. Appreciate everybody hopping in here. Be sure to go over to our social channels and give us all a follow as well. The Tar Pit Podcast, it goes a long way. So be back with us Wednesday at 8:30. Until next time, go Heels.
Go Heels.
Hey Tar Pit crew, thanks for hanging with us today. Quick shout out. Today's episode is powered by Untapped Sports Network. Big thanks to them for the support. If you like this episode, do us a favor. Like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support goes a long way in keeping the podcast rolling. Make sure you're subscribed and following the Tar Pit Podcast on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And don't forget to follow us on social. We're on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search the Tar Pit Podcast and you'll find us. Until next time, go Heels.